7 games into our dream job with Bayer Leverkusen, and I've left the lyrics to Sound of Silence up there in case anybody wants to join in, because we're staring into the abyss already. In all honesty, very little has gone right since we took over at Leverkusen. We've had the Champions League draw, that was a highlight. We were handed ties against Manchester United, Red Star Belgrade and Shakhtar Donetsk. We've played the first game away at Old Trafford against Manchester United. We got hammered 4-1, and we've got Red Star to play next week as well. But we've got a game against Wolfsburg first, and things are going even worse in the league than they're going in the Champions League group stages. So just the 5 defeats so far in our time as manager, 3 wins as well. So 8 games we've played. One of the wins we had was in the Cup against a team from the lower leagues. And in our last 2 fixtures against Man United and Bayern, we've got hit for 4 both times. Rather than run you through the form, let's just roll all of the goals that we've conceded in our game so far, starting with that Super Cup tie against Bayern, where we were never really in the game and lost 2-0. And then after the victory against Sandhausen in the Cup, we played Mainz on the opening day of the league season, and we got hit for 3 more goals again, and we looked worryingly open at the back. A 3-0 win against Nuremberg made us feel more comfortable, but then we took on RB Leipzig and we were lucky to escape this game with a win, conceding 2 goals once more in a 3-2 win before 3 defeats in a row. The first was humbling. We lost 1-0 to Frankfurt before shipping 4 goals against Manchester United, and they tore into us. And then the game against Bayern was like watching adults play children, although in both the Man United and the Bayern games, they were hitting shots from all over the park, and they all seem to be going in. So here's the problem that we've had. The central defenders in our squad, of which there are only 2 really, have been achieving pretty decent average ratings. Junior is on a 7.10, absolutely fine. Ilya Chernishev is doing even better than that. He is averaging 7.3. They look like really solid central defenders, and their attributes look really good as well. But in-game, they are playing disastrously, and when they're bad, they are horrific, making a long list of mistakes. And I think our real problem is that we don't have anybody further forward on the pitch offering them very much protection, because all of our central midfielders, as good as they are, all want to be advanced playmakers. I could comfortably pick 5 or 6 players in the central midfield, even going down onto the bench, and we're finding really strong players, but they're attacking midfielders, not holding ones. Even players that are not making the matchday squad would be fabulous additions to our central midfield, but none of them want to do the hard yards. None of them want to do the dirty work. None of them want to roll up their sleeves and play a role that Roy Keane would be proud of. The only player that we've got that can offer any kind of protection to a defence is Alessandro Pereira. He's probably our best midfielder. He's branded as an elite midfielder. Problem being, he's also our only real left back as well, which is where we've been playing him for a lot of this season. When we've tried to move him into midfield, we've brought Cristiano Pedrozzini into the side. He's injured for today's game, so that's not an option. And when he has played, he has been woeful as well. Our other fullback, Christopher Mendoza, he's not been very good this season either, even though his attributes suggest that he does have performances somewhere up those sleeves of his. But today, it leaves us with a bit of a quandary, because we've had 2 back-to-back 4-1 whoopings. Going forward, we have got attacking players that could cause damage to any side in the world, but our squad is so unbalanced. We've got a team of playmakers, wingers and strikers, and we are woefully short when it comes to defensive midfielders and defenders in general. So what's the answer to these defensive frailties? Well, I'm not sure I have the answers, to be honest. I'm hoping that in watching today's game, you're going to make some suggestions down in the comments section, because your suggestions are always an interesting read. For today, I'm going to try and bring in a 3rd central defender to play alongside Junior and Chernishev. He's the only other central defender we have at the club that's above 5'9". This is Vincent Smits. He's not stellar, but he's at least 6'3". He's a little slow, and technically he's a barren wasteland, but mentally he has got some attributes that suggest he can play in defence. And we're going to bring Pereira into midfield to try and anchor it a little bit as a deep-lying playmaker in the hope that he offers some protection, which leaves us without anybody capable of playing at left wing-back. So we're going to ask Fabian Rieder, another world-class midfielder, one who can at least tackle a little bit, who has no ability to play as a left fullback. But we're going to try and ask him to be a wing-back for us today. If this is another defeat, I think it could be only a matter of time before we're paying that first visit to the boardroom. I would like to point out that I've not been sacked in FM22 yet, the first iteration of Football Manager where I've not been sacked in several years, and I'd like to try and keep that record going, but it's going to be tough because we're in woeful form and our defence will not stop conceding goals. Let's show you what Wolfsburg have to offer today in the Scout Report. Today we welcome Wolfsburg to the Bay Arena, a team who are unfortunately in good form. Apart from a defeat to Bayern earlier in the season, they've made a strong start to the campaign and they've won their last 3 matches. They're managed by former Senegal international Aliou Cisse and they finished 6th last campaign. They have a number of English players in their side, including Liam Delap, and he'll be hoping to fire them to victory as Bayer Leverkusen take on Wolfsburg. So a defeat in today's game, and I'm not really sure what we do next. I will probably hide, in all honesty. Why, when I'm on a run of defeats, I've switched to a back 5? I'm not entirely sure, because this is a club without any good central defenders, so why I'm trying to play more of them is somewhat counterintuitive, and it's also a system that I've had very little joy with during FM22, so this is a bit of a Hail Mary to try and get it to work. I'm just hoping that having that extra body in there, as well as a central midfielder that's a little bit more cautious sat in front of them, might help solidify us and help stop some of those balls in behind our defence that the opposition have been profiting from in the early part of the season. We need a win. I would take a draw, in all honesty. We just need to break this run of defeats that we've been on and then try and get a win against Red Star in the Champions League during the week to kickstart our season. Early on, however, it's Wolfsburg that go close. So the early signs are not disastrous. We've conceded very early in some of our previous games. We've made it through the first 15 minutes and we're still tied at 0-0. And we're even venturing forward ourselves a little here. Manzano plays a little ball through to Mendes, one of the 2 strikers that we have in the side now. And it's come all the way back. Here's the deep-lying playmaker. He's got the solidity of 3 centre-backs behind them, and he's using them to good effect. I think he is anyway. They almost got caught in possession, and now we've brought the ball forward. We've got it to Mendoza over on the right. A goal now, and we would ease our nerves a little as the ball goes into Mendes. He can't get on the end of it. That can't be the highlight. Maybe we've got another chance in us. We've got Pereira. We've got plenty of space out with the wing-backs if they can be found. Now we do. Mendoza could get a good ball in. And Mendes swings and misses, a metaphor for our time with Leverkusen so far. We've had 7 shots to Wolfsburg's 1. We've definitely started better than we have done in some of our other games, but we've been beaten in the air and Wolfsburg rattle the crossbar. We are such a vulnerable defensive side. The match stats are all in our favour, but Wolfsburg are probably unlucky not to be ahead, and they're coming forward once more. They've got the ball down our right with Barami, and now Smith and Delap, 2 English players, linking up, and Smith's in, and we're a goal down again. And how easy is it for opposition teams to penetrate our defence? A couple of quick passes, and they are in behind us. Smith plays a 1-2 with Delap, and the centre-back that's meant to be marking him doesn't even track him. We are in all kinds of trouble. We're looking at going into half-time behind again. We've perhaps got one more chance to equalise before the break, although it looks like Elias is going to bring Wolfsburg forward on the counter-attack, and Barami could be clean through here. He doesn't look like he's the quickest player, but he's maintained possession, got the ball into Delap. We've managed to head it clear. Can we launch a counter of our own? Well, if we are, it's going to start with our keeper Cabrera, who's doing some strange Michael Jackson-esque moves down on his own goal line. We thumped the ball forward, even though we can't win it, and now we're looking to defend once more. Wolfsburg are looking like they're hungry for a second goal here. Hungry. like the wolves, some would say, and they are just running through unchallenged. Again, they're behind our defence. Smith should have added his second of the game. Okay, at half-time, we've decided to design a new tactic on the hoof. Gone at the 3 at the back. We're back to a 4, and we're going to bring on the only other defensive midfielder we have, Benjamin Spayu, a Kosovan 21-year-old with 1 cap. You can see he's way off the standard of any of our other players, and his passing is woeful, but he's the only other defensive midfield option that we've got, because if we're going to play a regular left-back, then Pereira is going to have to head back to that position, and we're going to move Reader to be a roaming playmaker in the centre of the park. Let's see if we toss up this Hail Mary, whether it helps drag us back into the game. We've had 16 shots. 6 of them have been on target, and yet the first highlight of the second half comes on the hour, and it's a free kick to Wolfsburg, and they've almost scored a third as Cabrera just shovels it round the post, and now they've got a corner. We just look incapable of winning a game, even taking a point right now. It really is a concerning little spell of form, and one that we've not really experienced. Even at Sampdoria, we were picking up enough occasional points to keep our heads above water in a scrap against relegation. This is meant to be a title battle, and I think you'd probably say that with Bayern on 18 points and us down on 6, we are out of the title battle as of today. Finally, we forced an attacking highlight. We've got a corner following a substitution that we've just made, and Junior comes forward and almost finds an equaliser for us. We've just made a little change in shape again. Look at these match stats, and yet it's Wolfsburg that are coming forward. They've rattled the crossbar for a second time this game. We should be not just drawing, but winning this game, and we're looking at losing yet another one. We could be sacked as soon as the end of this month, because we've gone down to Wolfsburg despite having 29 shots and an XG of 2. We've come up absolutely empty-handed again. The good news is we're not in the relegation zone yet, but that's 4 defeats in a row. We've only scored 2 goals in that time, and we are now 12 points behind Bayern at the top of the table, who we're meant to be chasing in a title battle this season. If you have any ideas how to turn a squad that is essentially playmakers and strikers into a cohesive unit capable of making up a 12-point gap on one of the strongest teams in Europe, let me know down in the comment section, and if we're still in a job, we'll see you for our next episode.